35,000 individuals each year. So POTS's idea is to try to help individuals move from crisis to stability, self-sufficiency. We do that through our emergency food programs, almost 1 million meals each year, as well as what we frame as our day-to-day services and next step services. Really thinking about the whole gamut. So if you're coming in here at POTS and you're hungry today, we don't want to just be able to serve you a meal. We want to make sure that we can put all the pieces together to try to help you get to that pathway of stability. So I think we're really fortunate to have some special visitors today for a really great announcement. We've got the Bronx Borough President here, Congressman Maloney. I think we're really proud to be working with the Bronx Borough President on a number of different things. So I think it's really special for us to be able to be the site for this really exciting announcement that'll be a great opportunity for choices for so many different POTS clients. So I'm going to turn it over to the Bronx Borough President.
Thank you, Christopher. Good morning, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here at POTS, part of the solution. Before I begin to speak about why we're here today, let me just say that it's not too hard to brag about the work and the services that POTS provides to Bronxites and people from beyond the borders of the Bronx on a daily basis. This is basically a one-stop shop. People come in here, they get fed, but they do so much. The faculty here does so much to try to get to the root of that individual or that family's problems and how is it that they can move forward. Everything from dental services to workforce development. You name it, it happens right here at POTS. I often joke, Congressman, that the Bronx is God's country and people chuckle and we don't have as much forestry and greenery as your district. But the reason why I say it is because every single day God's work is happening here in the Bronx, and POTS really does God's work. So thank you for hosting us, and thank you even more so for all of the work that you do here on a daily basis. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple of years ago during my State of the Borough address, I talked about a partnership that we did with a particular corporation that's coming into the Bronx from Queens, and that's Fresh Direct. Fresh Direct is this online grocery server. They deliver grocery, and when they were making a choice whether to stay in New York City or go to New Jersey, we said that we would welcome them to the Bronx. It was there that we were able to negotiate and come to certain terms with Fresh Direct, and they'll be here soon. One of the things that we were able to negotiate with them is to start off this sort of pilot program that it encompassed 3 different zip codes in the Bronx so that they can do delivery not only just to the entire Bronx but also to those people who were part of the SNAP program, to those people who had EBT cards. We ran into a little obstacle because we found out that the federal government did not allow for those with SNAP cards or EBT cards to order and get delivery online. And we were able to work with our local Congressman Jose Serrano and others, and U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, to allow for this sort of micro pilot program to take place here in the Bronx, and it truly worked. And then you fast forward, because we were able to afford these deliveries, and the delivery fees were waived, we saw the success in this and we saw how big it could become. So then I sat with my good friend right here, Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney, who represented a district in upstate New York. And this, ladies and gentlemen, with all of the rancor, with all the things that we've been hearing as of late, this is truly government working at its best. This is all of us coming together, and with his leadership and having the overwhelming majority of the members of the New York State congressional delegation come together, they were able to convince the U.S. Department of Agriculture that there should be sort of this outreach to different states. And they offered a pilot program for, I believe it was 7 different states, and New York, we won, and we're part of it. So now, it's not just the 3 zip codes in the Bronx, but this is available now to those who are participating in the SNAP program throughout the entire state of New York. And yeah, good. Thank you, Congressman. Before I turn it over to the Congressman, think of this. Think of somebody who lives in a food desert, who is now able to get healthy produce, not only just online, but delivered right to their doorsteps. Think of someone, a mom who is trying the best that she can to get the best types of food to a child who may be allergic to nuts, who's looking for gluten-free, who's looking, we just had a call when we first made this announcement a couple of weeks ago. A mother said, thank you, because I'm always trying to find soy-free products for my child, and they can't get that readily accessible and available in the supermarkets around her community. Now she can go online and have these products delivered right to her doorstep. Think of the home attendant or the homebound provider who now has different options for the client that they are working for. And so I'm so proud of this. I think that this is a fantastic time. This is great news. And this is basically about creating options for everyone. You know, the Bronx is doing well. We're moving forward. But we also know that there are so many that are still vulnerable. There's so many that need services. And this is an innovative, new way to address and give more options to those that are the most vulnerable. And again, this is government working at its best, and we could not have done this without a strong partner. You know, sometimes these conversations happen over lunch. You think that they're sort of casual conversations, but relationships really mean a lot in this business. And having this conversation with the congressman, a light bulb went on. He went, hit the pavement running. He went and galvanized all of the support from the congressional delegation, and here we are today. He's here with us in the borough of the Bronx, and so he's not only a voice for his congressional district upstate, and we all know that he has a lot on his plate, but here, whether it's the Bronx, whether it's parts of New York City, other parts of New York State, Rochester, Buffalo, where folks are going to benefit from this, we know that we have a friend in Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney.
Hey, thanks, man. Thank you very much. Go ahead. How about that? Hey, it's great for me to be here in the Bronx. I will tell you, I think this is one of the most interesting, dynamic, forward-thinking leaders we have in New York today. And I was thrilled to death to be able to partner with him on this. I want to thank the folks at Potts, Chris, and thank Joel, and thank Louis for being with us, who's going to tell you a little bit about what this means. I can tell you, I believe the Bronx is God's country. I represent this exotic upstate district called Westchester. You may never have heard of it, but it is to the north of here. But just a little bit north of that, where I also represent, in Putnam and in Orange County, we provide about 40% of the green produce that you'll find at the markets all around the city in these farmers markets. So this is a win-win, both for the people who need better access to healthy food and to food online, and to the folks who produce it, a lot of whom I represent. But the reason I think the Bronx is God's country, because we know that there are so many people here who are threatened by food insecurity. And we know that God's work is where the need is. We know that our Lord came into this world homeless and hungry and in need of help from others. And this weekend, we have seen millions of Americans come together and say, we are not going to turn on one another. We are going to come together as a community. And part of coming together means we see the need in our neighbors, and we see how we are connected one to another. And what helps us economically can also help people in their daily lives. That's the work that Potts does, trying to get people back into a self-sufficient, productive zone again by addressing all the needs in their lives. And nothing is more fundamental than nutrition. Nothing is more fundamental than whether you can give food to your kids, even when you're working, even when you're making everything, making all the right decisions. It can be really hard putting food on the table. And for a whole number of people in large parts of our city and our state, there isn't access to the kinds of foods they need. Look, hunger doesn't stop when you go online. Your daily needs don't stop when you go on the internet. And the fact is we do everything online now. And there is no reason on earth that people who are getting help and trying to become self-sufficient can't get the help they need online. And so I'm thrilled that we are able to partner with Amazon and Fresh Direct through this innovative program, one of only a few around the country, where we are going to demonstrate that all the ways that the EBT program and the food stamp program helps people can work even better if they're allowed to use technology to do it. It's going to help the people I represent who produce the food. It's going to help the people here in the Bronx that the borough president represents so well. And it's going to be part of an effort that we need to make over the next few years. to stand up for programs like SNAP that really help families. There's an effort right now in the Congress, led by the Republicans, to cut $140 billion out of the SNAP program, out of an $800 billion total over the next 10 years. $140 billion in cuts would be devastating to so many families who are trying to make ends meet. And so this is just one way we can get on offense, and we can start making this program work better. Because we're going to be playing a lot of defense over the next couple of years as well. And we're going to win these fights because we're right. And because we're standing on the side of people who deserve help and who need help. And we are going to be all better off when we remember how connected we are. And that's what brings together the Bronx and the Hudson Valley. And that's why this program is so exciting, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody who's been fighting the good fight with his organization for quite some time, who understands all of the different nuances as it pertains and it relates to hunger, and it's helping to change people's lives, and it's truly doing God's work, not just in the Bronx, not just in the city of New York, but beyond. With the Hunger Free NYC program is our good friend Joe Berg. Joe.
Thank you. I'm Joel Berg, Joelberg. Now that radio stations have websites, even you have to know how it's spelled. I want to thank POTS for your amazing work here today and every day, not just the POTS program. People are not satisfied, engaging in advocacy as well as direct service, which is so important. I want to thank the Borough President for your tremendous work each and every day to increase food access and decrease poverty in New York City. I want to thank the Congressman. I grew up just a few miles south of your district in Rockland County, just across the border, and there were still some farms there when I was growing up before they all became golf courses and condominium projects. I really appreciate your work, and I reinforce the importance of public policy in fighting hunger, in fighting food insecurity, in fighting obesity, and including food access. Charity is absolutely vital, and everyone listening and watching should donate to POTS, but we also have to change the public policy so we can finally end hunger in America and ensure that all Americans have access to healthy, affordable, delicious, nutritious food. Just a few words of background about the SNAP program, the new name for the food stamps program, not so new name for the food stamps program in New York City. This year, it's going to spend about $2.8 billion in New York City. $2.8 billion. The entire food economy of the city of New York is about $30 billion. So even given some really wealthy neighborhoods of New York City and a mass concentration of wealth, about 1 in every 10 food dollars in New York City is spent through the SNAP program. It's a vital economic boost. Some conservatives like vouchers when it comes to undermining public schools, and they forget that the SNAP program is a voucher program. In countries more liberal than the United States, the food programs are sent to a government warehouse in India, or are given government commodities in Mexico. In the United States, you're sent to the private sector to create jobs. Even Mark Zandi, a former economist, senior economist for Moody's, who was a former advisor to John McCain, has said that SNAP is one of the best economic investments in our country because every dollar spent on SNAP creates $1.8 in economic activity. This program is just so important. You're going to hear from my friend Louis Fabrino that there are too many food deserts in the Bronx. This is not the end-all and be-all answer. We need to make sure the prices are affordable, but not only that Fresh Direct can come in here, but also Amazon is authorized under this pilot project. And I also want to thank Paula Richter from the Borough President's Office for the great staff work during this. All your great Congressman's great staff. Good staff makes us all look good, like Philomena and our great FAB members here. This is so important to give people choices and to use the free market system of competition to increase food choices for low-income people. And I just want to close before I introduce Louis with reinforcing the importance of what the Congressman said about the cuts. As I mentioned, SNAP is spending about $2.8 billion a year here in New York City. 4 years ago, before federal cuts pushed through by others in Congress, it was $3.5 billion. There's a $700 million cut because of the cuts in benefit size and the reduction in the caseload coming into New York City. All the charities in New York City, maybe, if we're lucky, their combined food is $100 billion a year. So the cuts to New York City are 7 times what every charity can contribute. This is massive. This is the big kahuna, as they say. So attempts to pit one people against the other, and I was proud to participate in protests this weekend to say we're all Americans. I know this is not about refugees, but I couldn't come before the media saying my mother came here 2 months old, and our family would have been slaughtered if we didn't come here. My father grew up in the Bronx of immigrant families, and we're all together. And this is all about the same thing. It's about dehumanizing people to say they're somehow less worthy. There's an attempt to say, oh, the people who need these programs are in the North, they're in these liberal states. The states that have the highest level of SNAP participation are in the South. And they're not overall liberal. So let's remember that. Remember the importance of the program. Remember the importance of fighting back and saying that people working hard and playing by the rules, as our old boss Bill Clinton used to say, don't have to go hungry, shouldn't be poor. We've got to stand up and make sure not only are these programs maintained, but they have great new options to enter the modern world through technology, like the Congressman and the Borough President were able to accomplish today. Last, I'm honored to introduce Louis. You know, we believe in hunger-free America and hunger-free New York City. No social movement in history has been won by one people on behalf of another. And that's why it's so important for people who are affected by these programs to be able to speak out for themselves. So Louis and your current SNAP recipient.
Thank you, Joe. For being here, Congressman and President. Thank you for having this visit. The last time I was in down here, so, and I'm a former academic, so I'm going to be hello, my name is Louis, and I belong to a CSA in Mauritania run by Hunger Free in White City. I was asked to join the Food Action Board, and so I find myself here today in front of you. There is a specific matter I wish to address today, and I will, but I first need to speak to something I saw on the web about this issue, specifically the Fresh Direct opportunity, as some things cannot be ignored, as we found out this weekend, and it does tie in with my topic. And I'm quoting, "Another way for lazy people to be overweight and stay unhealthy. Never leave your affordable apartment." End quote. 16 words, but how many hopefully banned in Boston volumes are condensed within their rhetoric? And I must point out that given the discussion in which it appeared, unhealthy includes a dimension of making unhealthy food choices. Technology is not my friend. There we go. Other online discussions, some perhaps not local as they were on Amazon's participation, demonstrated the same intolerance. But an older discussion revolved around the fact that allowing EBT for online purchases will allow the homebound to order healthy or necessary items at reasonable prices, presented a very convincing argument. The specific matter that I wish to raise stems from the fact that I live in High Bridge here in the Bronx, behind Yankee Stadium, which is something of a food desert. Yes, last year a better supermarket chain took over one whose produce left much to be desired, but their prices leave a lot to be desired. So I walked 12 blocks off the hill to shop at another market with more reasonable prices and good quality, or truck will actually MTA things in from Manhattan. I sometimes make use of the local food box distribution point, now year-round, and also off the hill. But if they accept SNAP, they do not have tiered pricing. But come the warm weather, and still located in the lowlands of the rest of the Bronx, there is my local green market, which accepts SNAP and offers health bucks to offset the higher than local merchant prices. And I am sure we all remember the naysaying heard when the city announced green markets would accept food stamps. But let me quote from the Grow NYC site. In 2015, EBT cards could be used at 52 green markets, up from only 3 in 2005. EBT sales in 2015 exceeded $918,000. And in some markets, daily EBT sales reached close to $6,000. EBT has become a critical supplement to farmers who depend on these markets for survival, as some farmers reported that EBT sales comprise 25 to 50% of their total income. The use of EBT for online purchases will probably not become a critical supplement for these two web-based merchants, but it is an important step in the process of irrigating our food deserts. And if for some purchasers it will be an irregular practice, it is a sad fact that food stamps never last the home run. For others, it will not only be a regular recurrence, it will be a vital one. I don't live in either of Fresh Direct's pilot zip codes, but I had to laugh last week. Almost immediately after agreeing to participate today, I was passed by the first Fresh Direct truck, and I used to work for Fresh Direct, I had ever seen in my neighborhood. Lost? In the wrong place? Probably. but not for long. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Let me just say that one of the agreements that we made with Fresh Direct is that they had to deliver to the entire Bronx. So I don't think that they were lost. I think that they're living up to our expectations. Before we take any questions, brevemente en el español, me llamo Ruben Diaz Jr., soy el presidente del condado del Bronx. Estamos aquí gracias al señor, el director Christopher Bean de PATS. PATS es parte de la solución, donde trabajan diariamente aquí para darle no solamente comida, sino servicio a aquellas personas en el condado del Bronx que necesitan esos servicios. Estamos aquí también con mi gran amigo, el congresista Sean Patrick Maloney. Le queremos dar las gracias a Joe Berg, que es el líder de la organización Hunger for America. Hunger Free America, I'm sorry, not for Hunger Free America.
That's the other side.
Y el señor Luis Vivarina. Básicamente lo que estamos diciendo es que nosotros, aunque estamos viendo mucho progreso en el condado del Bronx, lamentablemente hay muchas personas que necesitan asistencia, especialmente aquellas personas que son los que reciben asistencias públicas. Muchas de esas personas, cuando uno habla de la salud o falta de salud buena, es porque no tienen comidas que son saludables. No hay supermercados que la venden. Si hay un supermercado, la comida es muy cara, es muy lejos de su casa, de su hogar. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Nosotros estamos aquí porque gracias al liderazgo del congresista y la declaración de los congresistas del Congreso del Estado de Nueva York, nosotros, el Estado de Nueva York, fuimos uno de los 7 estados escogidos para este programa de dejar que aquellas personas con asistencia pública que puedan usar su tarjeta para ordenar comida, no tabaco, no alcohol, no tenis ni ropa, comida, ¿ok? Comida en el internet, usando sus celulares, usando su computadora, y para que ellos tengan comida saludable, accesible, asequible, llegando a su hogar, ahí mismito en las puertas de su hogar. Entonces le queremos dar las gracias al congresista que viene desde Upstate New York. Como estamos viendo hay mucho bochinche, como se dice, en el Washington, D.C. Este joven es un ejemplo que sí el gobierno está trabajando por nosotros. Y él puede estar en cualquier otro sitio, puede estar en el Upstate New York, pero está con nosotros aquí en el condado del Bronx. Esto no solamente va a beneficiar al condado del Bronx, sino a todo el estado de Nueva York. Somos uno de los 7 estados.
Esto es correcto.
Questions?
Pero para entender. Bueno, escuchar.
Any questions?
I have a few questions.
Sure.
Right now, to be able to purchase groceries online, 5 years ago we never thought this was possible. Why now, and what else should we be looking forward to in the near future with, ordering food and, the food sector?
Well, a couple of things. We're going to continue to have to support our congressional delegation, because the fact is that the SNAP program may be next. We've seen all of these executive orders being signed. We see this rancor. And I think Joe made a good point that many of the people who want to take shots at those who with public assistance, they need to understand that the majority of public assistance recipients don't come from New York or big cities. They come from the Midwest, from the South, from the areas where those elected officials are taking shots at would take shots and would vote to hurt the program and the funding. That's number one. Number two, why now? Well, and I think Louis said it also great. When we made a push a couple of years ago with our farmers markets, we said that they should be allowed, people should be allowed, and we made this push for EBT cardholders to go and purchase produce at the farmers markets. We see more farmers markets, and we see more and more people using their EBT cards, and it works well. For me, personally, as the borough president, I'm always talking, you know this from Bronx, I'm always talking about housing. I'm always talking about job creation, economic development, our infrastructure, the investment that we've made on our green spaces. one of the areas that I cannot brag about is that of health. And so we're always encouraging people to exercise, but even more so is what people are consuming, what are they putting in their bodies, and how do we make it readily available to them, accessible to them, affordable to them. So this is all us getting with the times. The technology is everywhere. And I know people say, well, poor people. I've been here at Potts, I go all over the Bronx, I go all over the city, and a lot of folks have one of these. Right? And it's the reason why we also champion free Wi-Fi with the kiosks that have been going around. So we want people to be able to purchase online. This is an innovative way to do that. This is a great way for people to not only find accessible, nutritious, affordable, healthy products, but also to help us turn around the health situation that we confront ourselves in the Bronx and beyond. You want to give it a crack, Congressman?
Yeah, look, I think that's very well said. And the fact of the matter is that this is about making the market work better. This is about making more competition in the market, providing more markets for local farmers in New York. This is going to help us support our local farmers. This is going to help us bring those dollars into circulation right here in New York, and it's going to provide choices for people. You don't stop being hungry when you go online, and it is crazy in 2017 that you can't access everything online the way you can in the physical world. And this is just one step, as the borough president says, of getting with the times. It's really going to help people. And we know that the expansion of EBT use in the green markets has been a big success. I'm very proud of being a small part of that as well, because that produce is coming from largely from Orange County, New York, and the places I represent. So this helps us all. And making that private sector market work better and be more responsive to people like Lewis. So maybe that supermarket's got to step up its game. Maybe it's got to compete now with the kind of products he can get in Fresh Direct. We believe in the private economy. We just want to make sure that there aren't barriers to people so that they get healthier food in ways that make sense.
And let me just say this, I said it in Spanish, let me just say this in English, because I don't want anybody to distort the facts here. We are not talking about tobacco. We're not referring to alcohol. You can't purchase tobacco or alcohol. You can't get a pair of Jordans online. Okay, this is about food.
We don't grow tobacco.
Yeah, this is about food, and not only, you know, the fact also, and it just to reiterate, there are people who don't live in a food desert, who have a nice supermarket. We're doing more and more of that. Life isn't perfect, but we've been doing more of having supermarkets with the Fresh program in the city of New York to be in different neighborhoods. They may have accessible food, they may have affordable foods, and they may have a supermarket close to their home. But we also believe that there should be options. We believe that, again, if a mother who may have the accessibility to affordable, healthy foods in the supermarket, but sometimes there are specific items that are not available in that supermarket because for whatever reason, that supermarket chain just feels like there's not the consumer base. So whether it's gluten-free, whether it's soy-free products, other things, I mean, this also addresses food allergies. I'm allergic to shellfish, right? And there's so many kids who are allergic to nuts, and the list goes on and on and on. So while we are talking about the very needy, the very poor, and food accessibility, but we're also referring to options. A person who is an EBT card holder should have the same options than somebody making $100,000 or $200,000 a year.
It's true. Ooh.
Well, that's happening currently with 3 zip codes. But thanks to this guy right here, we were able to, with the New York State delegation, convince the U.S. Department of Agriculture to sort of have like this pilot program. And they chose 7 states. New York is one of those states. So now it's not just the 3 zip codes. That was micro with just one organization, with one corporation, which is Fresh Direct. But when you look at Amazon, when you look at Peapod, I think is the other one. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody here.
Just Amazon first.
Oh, just Amazon. Okay. But when you look at Amazon and where they deliver all over the state of New York, not just the Bronx, not just the city, all over the state of New York. And so we encourage people to use this so that we can show the need, so that we can show that this pilot program should be extended. And I think that ultimately our goal is to have it for the entire United States.
And at Hunger Free America, one of the things we're working on is to propose to these companies that they may find delivery hubs at public housing or community centers. Since so many people aren't home when the deliveries are happening, it would be fewer deliveries for the company, easier for the people to pick up. So that's something we want to work with others to try to see if we can also do that as a pilot project. It's easier if you're at home to get this, and the vast majority of low-income people in the Bronx and America are working.
Okay, so thank you guys, and we want to thank you once again, Congressman. Okay?